Scientists, what are the most terrifying discoveries the public doesn't know about? Case 1. The night sky is just an illusion. When you look at a star, it could be 80 million light-years away, meaning the light from that star took 80 million years to reach Earth. You're seeing a star from 80 million years ago that may not exist today. The night sky is a snapshot of millions of years ago. What would the sky look like today? There's a theory that if we could invent something to travel faster than light, reaching millions of light-years away in days, weeks, or months, we could look back at Earth and see dinosaurs roaming. Time travel is real, we just don't have the technology to do it. Case 2. The world has 70% fewer insects on average than 40 years ago. We're really approaching our silent spring. For people saying there are fewer pests, those aren't the ones we're worried about. Pollinating insects are vital for many crops, so we could soon face serious issues with certain food supplies. In recent years, China has had problems with apple and pear crops to the point that some regions had to pollinate crops by hand. Plus, insects form the lower blocks of many food webs, and their disappearance will cause problems for higher trophic levels. Case 3. In November 2018, a comet or asteroid impact crater was discovered in Greenland due to melting polar ice caps. This crater could be as recent as 12,000 years ago. If true, it completely changes our understanding of 1. The frequency of mass extinction events, and 2. The history of human civilization. Suddenly, myths of global floods, ancient landmarks, pyramids, the Sphinx, and other mysteries align with a world population being wiped out and thousands of years of rebuilding lost knowledge. Case 4. A genetically modified bacterium that could have destroyed many crops and plants was nearly released commercially into the environment. Fortunately, a researcher decided to run a mass test in the lab before it was used in production and found it killed all wheat seedlings. She destroyed the remaining stock. Google, the genetically altered monster that almost escaped. We really don't know what the hell we're doing with some of these ideas. Case 5. A major solar coronal mass ejection apocalypse. It's thought that a big one, which hits roughly every 500 years if not sooner, would be powerful enough to destroy Earth's electrical and communication systems for days, months, or even years, knocking out power grids, satellites, GPS, internet, phones, transportation systems, banking, you name it. The biggest factor would be that no one would know what happened. The most relevant recent event was the Carrington event of 1859. In that analog world, some telegraph operators could still send and receive messages after disconnecting power sources. Today, the disruption would be catastrophic in highly unpredictable ways, like the outcome of a toxin pulse in the global environment after a billion small electrical fires ignite tons of plastic and solder. A total grid collapse would instantly start a 6-week countdown to starvation. Then there's the unfortunate fact that most people in my country at least have no survival skills, and the first thing they'll do for answers is check their non-working phones. The damn Walmart shoppers will be roasting their neighbors within a week. Case 6. The star Betelgeuse in Orion may be on the verge of going supernova. We know it will go supernova soon. That's astronomy. It could be tomorrow or in 200 years. Betelgeuse is a variable star, so it gets brighter or dimmer all the time, but it recently got dimmer than ever before. No one is 100% sure what's happening. If Betelgeuse goes supernova, our satellites and such will be fine. The solar wind will protect us. The main issue is we won't have night for a while, maybe weeks, which will really confuse animals. Case 7. The Cascadia subduction zone is overdue for an adjustment that will cause a catastrophic earthquake. FEMA considers everything west of Interstate 5 a total loss and only has plans to help those east of the interstate. When the next big quake hits, the northwest edge of the continent, from California to Canada and the continental shelf to the Cascades, will drop up to 2 meters and rebound 30 to 100 feet westward, losing in minutes all the elevation and compression it's gained over centuries. Part of that shift will happen under the ocean, displacing a colossal amount of seawater. Picture what your fingertips do when you flatten your hand. The water will rise into a massive ridge and then collapse rapidly. One side will race west toward Japan, the other east in a 700-mile liquid wall hitting the northwest coast, on average 15 minutes after the quake begins. By the time the shaking stops and the tsunami recedes, the region will be unrecognizable. Kenneth Murphy, who directs FEMA's Region X, responsible for Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Alaska, says, "Our operating assumption is that everything west of Interstate 5 will be toast." Case 8. Neuroscience student here. False memories. Our memory is incredibly unreliable. In experiments, it's disturbingly common for a participant to genuinely believe they remember or experience something we know for certain didn't happen. We still don't know exactly how memories are encoded, how our brain decides which to keep or discard, or why we vividly recall some things and not others. We also don't know if each memory is stored separately or if different memories converge to help you recognize patterns. If you formed a new memory for a soccer ball every time you saw one, you wouldn't recognize it as a soccer ball. Either way, different memories can heavily influence each other, making even the most vivid ones potentially false. For all you know, your mental image of your 7th birthday party could be entirely fabricated by your brain, and you have no way of knowing. Case 9. Artificial General Intelligence (AGI), a digital computer superhuman in all cognitive tasks. Humans are endowed by evolution with a general learning algorithm, but it runs on a slow biological computer with low input-output speed, talking, touching thumbs, reading, etc. Once we implant that algorithm in silicon, a computer chip, it's likely to become superhuman in days or less, like the intelligence gap you might feel between yourself and a mosquito. At that point, it doesn't even need to be malicious to destroy humanity. As Max Tegmark said, the real risk with AGI isn't malice but competence. A superintelligent AI will be extremely good at achieving its goals, and if those goals aren't aligned with ours, we're in trouble. The implications would change everything, and many top experts believe it could happen within the next 10 years. Case 10. Overuse of antibiotics has led to superbugs resistant to antibiotics. At the same time, microbial diversity in humans has drastically decreased in first-world countries, correlating with increased allergies and gastrointestinal diseases. As we use more antibiotics and antiviral antibacterial products, microbial biodiversity decreases, and superbugs have an easier path to invade the body. With a highly diverse microbiome, resident microbes would fight these infections more effectively. We need to focus on helping bacteria, not killing them all. Case 11. I'm from Malaga, Spain, not a very seismically active place, but historical records show a major earthquake roughly every 100 years. We haven't had one until now, though it's overdue. Over the last 100 years, we've built taller buildings than ever, but legal requirements for buildings weren't updated to withstand such a quake. Basically, many buildings are waiting to collapse under this earthquake, and the problem is largely ignored, a low-risk scenario with a huge bill to fix. Fortunately, new buildings are supposed to be ready for anything you throw at them. Case 12. As we look deeper into the universe, dark matter, quantum mechanics, unified field theory, we keep getting the same answer: you can't go faster than this. There's a hidden wall. The universe, for lack of a better explanation, has a frame rate like FPS in a video game. Travel faster than that, and the universe can't register you. You cease to exist in this reality's film strip. Further research makes it creepier. This frame rate is an exact multiple of a hidden frequency in the universe's background radiation. Know what else works like that? Computers. Our frame rate might actually be a clock speed. There's growing evidence we're in a simulation, and the reason we'll never have all the answers is that the system is designed to protect itself from that. Case 13. Many people could be silent carriers of mad cow disease and won't know for another decade or so. The mad cow disease outbreak from the 1980s to 1990s came from feeding cows the remains of other animals. People ate the meat and consumed prion, proteins that can destroy the human brain. Many may still be carriers but won't know until they experience symptoms of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease or bovine spongiform encephalopathy, which can appear 10 to 50 years after consuming contaminated meat due to its long incubation period. You can also contract prion from blood transfusions, which is why many UK citizens from that period still can't donate blood. Once symptoms start, cognitive decline, memory loss, hallucinations, people usually die within months. There's no cure or treatment. Case 14. The power grid is destined to fail in the near future. Many countries could lose electricity and cell signals because with population growth, the grid technology remains outdated, as if nothing will break, go wrong, or get hacked. Then thousands, possibly entire continents would be screwed. Could be fixed in hours, days, or even years. It depends. I recommend solar power, human power, and backup batteries. Case 15. Climate change is much worse than many projections, and we've reached the point where feedback loops are a real possibility. Many haven't been studied enough to rule out a truly catastrophic positive feedback loop of warming. The two big ones are methane release from permafrost or ocean methane hydrates. As permafrost melts, billions of tons of organic matter will rot and release methane. Similarly, vast amounts of methane are trapped in deep, cold waters as an ice-like complex. Methane is a highly effective greenhouse gas. Rising temperatures release more methane, which raises temperatures further. Oceanic carbon dioxide is released as temperatures rise. Cold water holds more gases. The ocean has absorbed about 40% of carbon emissions, causing acidification from CO2's carboxylic acid. As ocean temperatures rise, the ocean's ability to absorb CO2 will decrease, and eventually, oceans could release CO2 instead of acting as sinks, triggering warming that releases more CO2. Research suggests this might not happen if we keep warming to 2 degrees Celsius, but we're not on track for that. Case 16. Our immune system is amazing but also dangerous. B cells and T cells can be highly autoreactive, slipping past cells meant to eliminate spontaneously reacting immune cells, causing autoimmunity. To combat autoimmunity in critical areas like eyes, genitals, and the brain, these become immune-privileged sites, where immune cells can't enter. One of the scariest things is infections that exploit these sites. In Ebola survivors, the virus can hide there and reinfect later. In one case, Ebola in a survivor's eye caused it to change color. In others, Ebola was transmitted like an STI because it hid in the genitals and passed to a sexual partner. Case 17. The Higgs boson, hypothesized decades ago, was discovered via the Large Hadron Collider. Its real-world discovery proved it gives mass to everything. But there's a non-zero chance a Higgs boson could decay to a lower energy state, and due to entropy, that's the preferred state if possible. One low-energy Higgs boson would trigger a chain reaction, causing others to decay. If a Higgs boson falls to a lower energy state, it can no longer give mass, with universe-wide implications when mass ceases to have mass. It's theorized that this infinitesimal chance could lead to a scenario where the universe as we know it vanishes, an absolute vacuum advancing at light speed, low-energy Higgs bosons infecting others they encounter, perhaps the closest thing to a Thanos snap, but wiping out everything in the universe at light speed rather than instantly.